Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter back with the next video in my Soul Sacrifice Delta playthrough series. If my voice sounds a little raspy or deep, it's because it's the morning and I usually don't record at this time, but I'm so excited to get back in that I just couldn't wait. So we do have the Memories Remain, which is the new, so to say, final ending path, which has been unlocked, which is revised the Memories Remain. If we look here, it is a 7-star, but instead of going on to the main story with Magusar, today is going to be a special triple episode. It might be double, depends on how long these things are, but we have some new stories to play in each of the factions. So we've got Impure Blood for Sanctuarium. We still have this one that we've never done, which is the Curse of Narcissism. And then we have one more for Grimm. Where is it? Which I really like, which is A Lost Voice. So, let's start. I say we start with Avalon, and then we work our way over to the right. So, Impure Blood is one of my favorite NPCs, Terroria. I really like her, so hopefully you enjoy this story too.
They called it Lysergy. A tonic that was circulating underground. Imbibing Lysergy led to a state of rapture, but impaired one's reason. Whoever drank it would soon turn into a monster and spread grief. An edict had circulated calling for the eradication of Lysergy. While on the trail of the deadly tonic, I met a female sorcerer named Terroria. She claimed to have information on the mysterious medicine.
Won't you come with me for a while?
We arrived at an area infested with monsters. We were quickly surrounded. Terroria licked her lips and spoke.
We will feast upon your blood.
I love me vampire ladies. Okay, Extermination Pact against the Glacial Orcs. So in order to make these ones go faster, what you generally want to do is just put on the Phoenix Feather. Or Cotton Maid's Wings or whatever. This will help. We know that Lysergy is spawning monsters. The means of their production or acquisition remains shrouded in mystery.
Let us see what glorious exploits I can achieve on the field of battle.
She looks great, doesn't she? So let's go ahead and just I'll probably end up skipping most of this. It's just cleaning up small monsters.
That name, Terroria. After the battle, I remembered. Very recently, Terroria had earned a measure of fame. She was exterminating monsters at an incredible pace. But people talked about more than her prowess. She was also known for a strange habit. After the fight, she latched onto my arm and pressed her lips to a wound that I had suffered in battle. She started sucking my blood. No wonder she had become the talk of the town.
If you ever die, I'll be there to drink your blood.
Terroria made one thing clear. If I wanted to know anything about Lysergy, I would have to stick with her. She said her blood was impure, and that it must be diluted. That was why she sucked the fresh blood of others. But she hated the taste of her own blood.
My blood is cursed,
She said to me. I have not been told of our destination, but it is clear that it will be a treacherous journey. I asked her about Lysergy, but she only said one thing. To acquire it, you had to be of a certain ilk. I tried to ask more, but she turned her head to look back at something. Monsters had drawn near.
Let's kill some more orcs. Her hatred for her own blood has driven her to madness. The kind of madness that makes her crave the blood of others. She's got issues. Don't we all?
Let us see what glorious exploits I can achieve on the field of battle.
Easy peasy. Now I should actually be sacrificing or saving most of these monsters so I can actually gain more essences and experience. I just haven't been. A little too cocky with my black spells. I actually need to fix my fashion as well.
After the battle, Terroria once again put her lips to my wounds. After she finished sucking blood, using her fingers, she held one of her wounds open for me to see. She produced a vial and drained her blood into it. While her blood dripped into the vial, she spoke to me about her past. Once, there was a sorcerer. He was overcome by desires and transformed into a monster. A woman had conceived the man's child. Before the child was born, her monstrous father was eliminated. No one knew if the child would be born human or monster. The mother, ostracized, went mad with resentment and rage and became a monster herself. Her wrath fueled great violence. Naturally, she too was slain by sorcerers. But from the monster's corpse was heard the wail of a baby. What survived was called Terroria. After she had opened up to me about her parents, occasionally she began to share more. Her family history had made life exceedingly difficult. The only thing to be thankful for was that she was born with a sorcerer's potential. Terroria's way was simple. She would kill more monsters than any other and become truly famous. She need only succeed, and the world would accept her. Whenever Terroria had the chance, she drained her blood into vials. After a few days' trek, Terroria stopped.
We're here. Watch carefully.
A monster appeared before us, and Terroria smiled mischievously. This monster too had been created by Lysergy.
Okay, we're on Leviathan's second floor against an avaricious slime. Okay, let's read the story of Leviathan on land, only because we haven't read anything yet. So this is up in the north. There was once a kingdom whose queen had given birth to twin princes. Naturally, the rarity of royal twins had brought a great deal of attention for the kingdom. For the two princes, a life of sibling competition lay in store. Who was born first? Who would be the first to smile? Who would be the first to turn over in their sleep? The first to walk? The first to speak? The first this? The first that? The older prince, a bright, well-built boy, was loved by everybody in the kingdom. He was also superior to his younger brother in every single respect. As the younger prince grew older, comparisons with his brother grew more frequent and more unfavorable. His envy was compounded, and he became a maudlin young man. His father, the king, naturally focused all of his love and attention on the older twin. He began to distance himself from the younger prince, finding him a singularly difficult character. They rarely exchanged words. Though he kept him at a distance, the king still showered his younger son with gifts, trying to ensure there was plenty to keep him occupied. The prince would take these gifts down to his room in the castle dungeons and smash every one to pieces. After all, the prince understood that his father did not love him. On his 10th birthday, the younger prince was given a bird. He began to torture it, and before long, it was dead. The bird sang to its last. A shiver ran down the prince's spine. He had never experienced pleasure like this before. Tormenting a weaker being had given him a momentary sensation of power. He quickly asked his father for another bird, and then another after that. When he had grown tired of torturing birds, he turned his attention to different animals. All sorts of creatures were delivered to the dungeon, where the prince could toy with them as he pleased. One day, a reptile from a distant land was delivered to the prince. A crocodile, they called it. A grin spread across the young prince's face when he laid eyes on his latest plaything. He liked the crocodile's violent nature. Its jaws looked easily strong enough to mangle a man's limbs. The prince kept his powerful new pet in a special cage, one that allowed him to abuse it in safety. After all, he was better than this crocodile. This gave the younger prince, who had always been unfavorably compared to his brother and scorned as a result, a sense of self-worth, a sense that he could only achieve by comparing himself to something else. The prince started to favor his crocodile over the rest of his menagerie. Of all the animals he tormented, it was abusing the crocodile that gave him the greatest sense of superiority. Several years passed. The king grew old and decided it was time for an heir to inherit the throne. That he would choose the older prince was a foregone conclusion. A world of difference separated the princes. Compared to his sturdy brother, the little princeling was positively spindly. The young prince spent his brother's coronation down in the dungeons, feeding his crocodile. Dark thoughts filled his mind. If he could only release the giant crocodile from its cage and sneak it into his brother's room. Surely even his brother couldn't overpower it. He could kill his brother at any time. His life was at his mercy. He was, in other words, more powerful than his brother. He was soon bent double in manic convulsions and laughter. One day, the new king went to visit a neighboring country. In his absence, the younger prince acted as though he owned the castle, with his brother gone, killed, mangled. The young prince's wild thoughts grew stronger, hardening into a firm desire that began to gnaw at him. All of a sudden, a curious chalice appeared and spoke to the prince. "I can fulfill your desire," it said, "for a price." These words filled the prince with conviction. Somehow he knew the chalice was not lying. The price paid was his beloved crocodile. He sacrificed it without a moment's hesitation. The prince began to undergo a metamorphosis. His skin became scaly and his jaws became wide and powerful. Most notably of all, however, he became much, much bigger. Soon he had grown too big for the dungeon, the walls of which collapsed under the pressure of his expanding body. Soldiers and the other servants were crushed as the crocodile prince's body swelled. And still he continued to grow. "Who's the little brother now?" he thought to himself. His limbs burst through the castle walls and his neck thrust out of the front gate. Still, he did not stop growing, and before long, the prince was carrying the entire castle on his back as he walked around. By the time this growth had ceased, the prince had lost grasp on reason. The crocodile's cruel, violent instincts had overwhelmed him. Though he could no longer be considered a human prince, there was one thing, one feeling he retained from his previous life, a feeling that could not be abated, the feeling of inferiority. The strength of this feeling was revealed when the destination of the castle-carrying beast became apparent. He was going to the country his brother was visiting, going to fulfill his original desire, his desire to see his brother mangled in his jaws. Dark. Yeah, so Leviathan, we don't have to feel bad about smacking down the Leviathan when we do get the chance to fight it. Okay, let's put on like an experience rumor. It's been a while since we've had some experience boosting going on. Her reputation as a sorcerer tarnished by having monsters for parents. It's why Terroria acted in this way. And you can't blame her. Oh, I like this map.
Let us see what glorious exploits I can achieve on the field of battle.
I kind of wish they gave them more than just one flavor line when you enter, but I imagine there were some limitations on both budget and just everything as well, size. Let's go ahead and armor up. Let's buff up. I'm going to use a platform and try to break the parts. Activate my spear first, because that way I can tab over to create the platform. So its front legs, I believe, are the parts to break here. Oh, the back leg here. Yeah, spears are really good for precision hitting, just like they are in Monster Hunter. And there's another one down. Next ones are way up high, so you see now why we need the platform.
I sense that this beast has already lost most of its life. This beast
Oh, and we killed it. Well, at least we broke some parts, so that's good. Down with ya. Fun fact, you can actually just leave the monster there, so you can clean up, collect, and do all the other stuff that you want to do. You don't actually have to, like, there's no time limit here on what to do. The NPCs will wait for you, which is nice. If you notice, I'm picking the option that gives me the most experience. It's just because I'm trying to collect these different types of essences. And the higher the experience points, then the more rare version it is. Okay. Let's make Terroria happy. Be gone with you, beast! Woo! Look at all that blood. Yummy. This is perfect for a Halloween episode, doesn't it? I just thought about that. It's Halloween today in Japan, probably turning Halloween other places. It's going to be a very good story to start off today's video. Although I don't imagine many of you are going to be already caught up and ready to watch this, but for those of you who are, perhaps to you. Ooh, we unlocked a new black rite. I haven't been using them because I've kind of used it too many times in the beginning. I started running out of lacrima. But I am going to do a demonstration episode where I show you all the different black rites. This is because we hit level 20 for magic, so it unlocked the next one, Lepnir.
I found something amongst the fallen corpses of the monsters. A vial. The same type that Terroria uses to capture her blood.
You see now, don't you? The truth.
The answer was simple. Lysergy was blood. Terroria's flesh was cursed. This was no mere rumor. And Lysergy was her blood. Terroria sold her blood to breed monsters. By killing them herself, her prowess became known. She created monsters, then killed them. That was her only choice. The only way a girl born with monster's blood could be accepted.
I was going to make you drink Lysergy too.
This was the way she typically ensnared victims. Get close to a person, gain their trust, and sell them Lysergy. Tell them it's a nice elixir. One taste, and they were trapped. People could not resist its pleasure, and became monsters.
But I've changed my mind. You won't have any Lysergy.
I asked her why, and she told me to come with her to a nearby town where the answer would be clear. Just as the town came into sight, we were surrounded. Perhaps these creatures were attracted to Terroria's cursed blood.
Alright, we're going in and we're going to fight the Incubus for the first time. So we got some lore. Now, as we've learned, as we've played this game, don't judge a book by its cover. Har har. She seems like she's got some bad intentions here, even though she's trying to just carve out a name for herself in the world because she's disadvantaged. But it's kind of cruel to go around poisoning people with your blood, which acts sort of like a ecstasy drug or something, only to turn them into monsters and kill them. But we'll wait for it to pass judgment. We'll see what's really going on here. I'm going to fix my outfit. I just remembered. And the black rite that we unlocked So we've unlocked a few. I think I forgot to show you off these two. But we got Sylphid, I think that's called. This is the legs. So you sacrifice your legs to gain wings temporarily, and you're able to sort of like do a drill attack in the air at a monster. And from that point, they will be vulnerable to ailments like poison and stuff like that. The price to pay for sacrificing your legs, of course, is you walk slower and you can't evade. We have another one with legs where we can give it up for wings and hit the monster. And then from that point, they will get hurt by healing spells. Very interesting. I've never actually tried this one. And after that, you have the same sort of negative effect. Then Glepnir is sacrificing your right arm. Interesting. So offer your right arm for a powerful cursed chain. Press buttons during the rite to bind Archfiends. Pay the price by losing the effects of sigils. Yeah, so this is what happens if you are a sorcerer of Avalon and someone sacrifices you if you die. It activates a very powerful spell that will sort of do like Hellbound Hellraiser. Everything will be caught in chains and allow everybody else to just pound on the monster. But losing the effects of all your sigils, that is a price that is huge. I don't think I could pay that. So let's go ahead and quick read about Incubus. The painter had talent for crafting unsellable works, yet pride outweighed his ambition and he refused to compromise his vision to suit the masses. And so the man went poor. Though he was content to live in stoic subsistence, his wife and children found it less appealing. They urged him to sell his brushes and find a new career, one that paid. But the artist had his pride. He would no more compromise his vision for family than for strangers, and so his family left him. Good. The artist was consumed with loneliness. Solitude drove him near madness, and his fragile state began to show in his works. His brushstrokes became more and more frantic, and those who saw his paintings found them disturbing. Sales dwindled even further. The man increasingly felt the weight of his lofty aesthetic standards. Artistic integrity, he learned, makes for a lean meal indeed. Days of destitution stretched into months, until even the hope of ever escaping poverty was snuffed. One day the painter had a dream. Its contents were scandalous, obscene in the extreme. Yet he was gripped with conviction. If I could translate this vision to the canvas, he thought, it would be guaranteed to sell. He took brush in hand immediately, but the results failed to satisfy him. The sights he had seen that fateful night must have been spectacular indeed. Even in this grand compromise of his ideals, it seemed the man could not shake his perfectionist streak. His integrity became a weighty shackle that bound him, and the painting refused to near completion. He felt completely overwhelmed. Slumped before his easel, the man finally gave in to despair. It was then another otherworldly vision struck him, this time awake. A snow-white chalice hung before his eyes and spoke these words, "For a fitting sacrifice, I will see your wish made real." The artist accepted. His next actions were the work of a madman. He'd staked his life on the completion of his painting. He was ready to make any sacrifice to make it happen. Again, he took his trusty brush in hand and stabbed it deep into his own head. Color gradually welled up within the implement's bristles. These colors, plucked straight from the painter's own mind, seemed to have soaked up the very stuff of his vision and imagination. They perfectly matched the sights he envisioned. The painting was finished in the blink of an eye, and just as soon, it became the talk of the town. The dreamscapes painted in the pigments from the man's own head sold at a speed unheard of before or since. The man's finances at long last stabilized, but his mental state did not. Deep in his heart, he was still plagued by doubt. Would the people tire of his style? Would he be forced to return to that wretched life of poverty? Amid his anxieties, a curious commission came before the artist. A simple image to gaze upon was not enough for this patron. He wanted the experience of the painting contents firsthand. The artist took this as his first sure sign that his interest in his works was waning. He had no choice. He had to accept no matter how ridiculous the request. From the moment he pricked his head with the brush, his sense was already lost. At the end of a long run of trial and error, the painter had his solution. If his client wanted to be pulled into the world he'd painted, then pulled in the client would be. As if possessed, the artist stripped naked and pounded at his body with a mallet. Amidst the cracking and crunching of bone, the man furiously beat his body flatter and flatter until eventually he was flat like a canvas. He would paint his obscene tabulus upon his own body, then absorb the viewer into himself. Within his flesh canvas, the artist's dream world was reproduced to the minutest detail. There, a patron could physically experience the scene to the fullest. The artist had constructed a carnal paradise. Rumors soon spread, and the list of hopeful patrons grew without end. For none of these eager customers realized one important thing, that those who enter the artist's living paintings can never return. Haunted by the fear that his customers may tire of his work, the artist had wished for the people he enthralled to never leave. And so his canvas grew, fit to burst its frame from the captivated masses within. Interesting. So we've got a crazy artist who will draw what you want and then suck you in the world and you'll never leave. Interesting. Let's go kill it. It's not a very good monster. I mean, he basically left his family to starve. Terroria sees no goal beyond killing monsters. For her, the act is an end in itself. Yeah, I'm not sure I can sympathize with a painter who would starve his own family just because he couldn't draw the sexy images in his head.
Let us see what glorious exploits I can achieve on the field of battle.
So let's pound on this thing. I had to hunt like 30 of these in my Japanese copy of the game because I just couldn't get the one drop I needed. It was horrible. I still had fun doing it. Let me quick get the points I need so we can get buffed up here. So let me... Did she just hit me? Terroria, calm down, girl. Here, come on, get some healing. Where is she? Oh, come back here, you. Boy, she doesn't want to get healed. She's just fighting these birds. Well, this is going to take me forever to get the achievement. Brilliant healer, and... Where is it? There we go. Perfect healer achieved. Good. She was so intent on killing these things.
Save some of them for me, won't you?
Okay. Let us go. You are going to need a platform to reach the upper parts of this canvas. Wait till you see the drawings he draws. They're really hilarious. Ew. So breakable parts are his 2 eyeballs. Thanks for pancaking me. Ugh. And, yep, just his 2 eyes. Spinny spindle in. Ouch.
You can afford to take more damage than that.
Okay, so let's get up. Stab those eyeballs.
Do not let your lifeblood flow in vain. Pleasure in the sight of my own blood.
Most monsters will know how to get rid of the platforms, so you have to use them at good times, like when a monster's down or something, so that you can nail it before they kill you. Oh, he's gonna kill me now, speaking of the devil.
Drain every last drop of your essence from me.
Let's stop hitting him for a second so we can see some of his paintings. What the heck? Who destroyed it? Is it the small monster? I'm trying to show this off for a video for YouTube. Come on, man. What's wrong with these guys? Do they not understand the importance? At least they're dead now. Hit me a little drawing. Come on.
No pleasure in the sight of my own blood.
Where did he go? There he is. Nothing?
I'll draw strength from the blood that flows on the battlefield.
Ooh.
Do not let your
Oh, hello
lifeblood flow
there.
in vain.
Reminds me of like those romance novels with like Fabio. When I was a kid, that was a big thing for like the grandmas out there reading their romance novels with Fabio on the cover. He's got a few other drawings, and we'll see if we can get all of them. It'll be fun to watch. Ow! Stop it. Come on, do your other drawings. Well, at least she's joined me up on the platform. That's good. Let's break his other eye. Oh, did we get it? We did, but I didn't get the all parts broken message that tells me that there's another phase in which he has another part for us to destroy. So I'm going to stop touching him now. There it is. Oh, it's the portal in his stomach now. Is it gone? It's gone. Oh, so it only opens up when he starts drawing. Okay. I didn't even know that. Quick heal up. I see now. Picture we got here. Oh, is that Sword Tiara? How dare you? How dare you draw me crudely? Take that back. Replenish my offering. If I use this now, I'm going to lose my spear and lose all my ways of attacking, which would be very bad. Let's renew an offering power through these little seashells. It'll give us 2 more casts, which should be enough. There we go. So we managed to get him as he was spurting stuff out at us. That's great. And then we got frozen. Come on. I'm just going to spam kill him now. So he's starting to annoy me. There we go. Good stuff. I mean, I've got nothing against loot art, but if you are going to suck in your patrons and kill them, that's not good. Just because you're insecure.
I don't want to die. There's still so much
Fun to be had? Nah, man, this guy's got to go. Let's get him to Terroria. We're getting him for copyright infringement for using my Sortero's likeness without permission. What a punk. Wow, so even with the healing, we didn't even get first rate. That was just horrible. It's because I was so focused on breaking parts. I ended up dying and everything. But we got all of his stuff, which is great. Which means if we wanted to go back in there and get the quest rewards, we can do that. We don't have to worry about breaking any of his parts. We can just smash him. So the painter's canvas. Awaken the magic of the incubus to modify the caster's evasion. So this is one that went unnoticed by people in the West because it wasn't documented. But I'll show you this. But it's like an ice skate that you can do, the skate around the arena. You can't attack. You can't do anything during it. So everyone thought it was kind of a useless spell. The point is that if you get hit while you're sliding, you always end up with 1 HP. So there is a type of build for an Avalon Sorcerer in which there's a special sigil that you can earn that will give you 150% more attack power but leave you ever at 1 HP. So that is perfect for the Incubus one because it allows you to quickly skate out of danger without any risk of actually dying. So all the spells I imagine in this game have some uses. Uses? That's not even a word. Uses. It's too early. I haven't had my coffee yet.
We arrived at the town. A pale man awaited us on a dimly lit street. Terroria smiled as she handed the man a vial in exchange for gold coins.
He's a regular. Absolute scum.
As the man walked off, Terroria told me that he was a slave trader.
Scum like that are better dead.
That was the certain ilk that you had to be to qualify. Terroria said that it took only one lick of a man's blood to know if he was worthless or not.
Your blood was different, though. It was lovely.
She said that some people deserve to be monsters.
It makes them easier to kill.
Terroria had her own reasoning, her own ways to wickedness. Not the kind of reasoning that was acceptable, mind you. Lysergy is still out there. Which means Terroria is still fast at work. But within her world, she acted with justice. A wicked brand of it, but justice nevertheless.
That was such a great story, wasn't it? And I love the fact that the author realizes that it's not really an acceptable thing to just go around deciding this person is scum and horrible and abuses people and deserves to die. But so far, it seems like she's got a good track record. I mean, slave traders and stuff like that. Definitely, you know, if they're going to be a target of someone evil, may as well be them, right? So we did unlock another Avalon story called Of Men and Beasts. This is Monstrux. But we're not going to do this one today. We're going to do another one. This actually makes me think that we're going to do a double character episode, not a triple one. I think triple would be too much to go over in one shot. And if we're going to be unlocking like one more story afterwards anyways, then maybe we should just focus on Avalon and Sanctuarium for this one. And then we'll do the Avalon and Grim for the next one, or two Grims. It would be interesting. So let's go and do the story of a Calixto. Or Calixto. We'll find out soon how it's pronounced.
A man stood, gazing at the water. I asked what he was doing. He replied he was watching his own face reflected in the lake.
It's bewitching, my face.
I tried to stop, but failed. I called him a vainglorious cad. The words struck him like a blow. He fell to his knees. His face was a mask of anguish, as if the world were ending.
Impossible. I'm ravishing.
I felt as though I'd encountered something otherworldly. I distanced myself from him. But he followed me, anger in his eyes. He haunted me like a ghost.
So our author dissed him, called him a stuck-up punk, and hurt the boy's feelings. And now he's like, "Stop it! You're wrong! I'm going to show you you're wrong." So up against a harpy to begin with. Interesting choice for harpy, because the story of the harpy was of a nice lady who wasn't visually appealing due to her hurt feelings she would eat to sort of deal with some hardships. And now we're dealing with someone who looks nice but just can't get over themselves. So we've gone first circle here. This is good. We can level up now because we're focusing on saving. He was sickeningly infatuated with himself. I'd often catch him gazing at his own reflection, muttering sweet nothings to himself. "You're ravishing, my dear Calixto."
Gaze upon my beauty.
I mean, he's not a bad-looking guy. Looks like he puts on a little too much makeup, but Stop being so vain, dude. Okay, we've done enough harpies at this point. I'll probably end up editing a lot of this out. Calixto using the mole is really funny because it makes him look all pretty as he jumps in the air to do his attacks. It's so on point. There we go. Rapid quest achieved. I actually don't recall seeing rapid quest before. I wonder what that means. Maybe I did it really fast? I don't know. That's the Godspeed one, so I don't know, ditto, but I'll take the points. It's also ironic that we're doing this in the Andromeda Lake, because that story, if you remember, was based upon someone who was obsessed with their beauty. So that's also funny. That's little fun Easter egg jokes. Okay. Then we got the harpy. The harpy special attack. So we can do whirlwinds. Sends everybody flying up in the air. It's really funny.
The monsters I fought, he would save. He was part of Sanctuarium, I learned.
I cannot deny my anger at your insult, sir, but...
But to take revenge would fly in the face of Sanctuarium's creed. Despite his words, he still looked pale, as if I'd wounded him.
Well, what man hasn't once erred?
He said. What truly mattered, he claimed, was how we are redeemed.
In my infinite beauty, I feel I must offer you a chance to atone.
Nothing the man said made an ounce of sense to me. This man, Calixto he called himself, said he was joining me. That he would make me see his beauty, whatever it took. That he could bear to do no less. It reinforced my opinion. The words vainglorious cad again fell from my lips, and again he collapsed with a shriek. As promised, though, Calixto followed wherever I went.
Do you now see my beauty, sir?
Utterly exhausted by him, I gave him the answer he wanted. He insisted I hadn't...
Said it from the heart.
Yes, well, there's good reason for that. He told me he served as a recruiter for Sanctuarium. And he only dealt with a very specific subset of people. I had no interest in his work. But that didn't stop him prattling on about it. A fiend appeared before us. The twinkle suddenly returned to his eye. He was brimming with energy now. It was as if we had beheld a vision come from heaven.
Allow me to redefine grace in motion for you.
I love hearing these two bicker, especially the author, deal with this guy he's just so not having. He's just so not feeling him. He's just like, come on, dude. But he does it in such as like a serious tone. It's so funny. So we're still back on Lake Andromeda, and we're going up against Snow White. Again, another monster associated with beauty. The poor girl was made into a mirror so that her mother could enjoy looking at herself. It seemed Calixto's goal was set in stone. He would bring salvation to the monsters. Taking the initiative, he set about looking for monsters. Okay, well at least... Did I didn't even look. Perfect healer, there we go. Sheesh, what a chump and a half. So did you notice that we're refreshing the apples if we do a spell? Isn't that cool? Check this out. Oh, 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 here comes a third. There we go. Isn't that awesome? I love these little things that you can do in the game. There's so many of them. Just nice little touches. My god, can you imagine this game remastered on modern hardware? Oh, it'd be so good. I mean, the portable nature of the game would make it perfect for Switch, but this is published by Sony, so that's not ever going to happen. But man, if they want to bring this to the PC or like PlayStation 5, like I'd be so happy. Sony, do it, please. They won't. They're chumps.
True to his organization's code, he saved the monster. But that was only the beginning of his work, he explained. No one can say whether those who are saved find true salvation afterwards. Those who drowned in their desires once often sink into them again. And society does not look kindly on those who have become monsters. Many of the saved endure prejudice and abuse. Only a lucky handful can return to their former lives. The woman Calixto saved seemed truly repentant. She said her name was Pulcha. In response, Calixto pressed the former monster to join the ranks of Sanctuarium. The organization serves as a haven for reformed fiends with nowhere else to turn. His calling was to go forth and extend the hand of salvation directly. What matters is how we atone. All humans err, we transgress.
As when you insulted me, sir.
He added unnecessarily.
I'm ravishing, am I not?
He put the question to Pulcha, the poor woman he'd only just met. She nodded politely, though it was clear she was merely humoring the one who had saved her. His next task was to escort the girl to Sanctuarium's hold. He asked me to assist him in this.
Do this, and I'll forgive your slander, sir.
Calixto then began to tell the girl an account of his own past. He had been a common sorcerer, a faithful adherent to Avalon's code. But an encounter with one monster changed his life. The beast had been a young woman once.
Help me!
Finishing off a pleading target. Just another part of the necessary evil we sorcerers trade in. But that day, he couldn't do it. He saved that woman, Alba she was called. though he couldn't offer a reason. Well, who amongst us can say why they've fallen in love?
Funny, isn't it?
He said after finishing his tale.
A man as ravishing as I, falling in love at first sight, and with a former monster, no less.
He is so full of himself. Oh my gosh. So let's quickly try make quick mess of these spiders. As Calixto told Pulcha his tale, I felt something was amiss. We were not alone. Monsters had drawn near. They're just spiders. Spooties. We'll save them. Save the spooties. Fun story, but me and Yuna make a very specific point when we have a spider in our house to trap it in like a cup and then release it outside. We do not kill them because they have done nothing wrong. They're just good spooties. That and I think they eat like little insects and stuff in your house anyway, so like they want to chill in my house and help clean it up, like go for it. I understand though in some countries there are like spiders that are so huge it's like they're not cute little spooties at that point. They're kind of scary.
Pulcha listened intently, so he continued speaking. Ever since falling for that girl, he was filled with empathy for former monsters. Which was when he first began to gaze at his face, out of habit. Calixto and this woman, Alba, fell deeply in love. But her past drew the scorn of those around them. So they moved away from prying eyes to live alone together. To her, Calixto was special, unique among men. Who could ever say they loved someone as much as she loved him? Alba came to him with a confession. Her father, too, had become a monster in the past. And the children of monsters, they too were shunned. In the end, her spirit buckled. And so she became a monster. But even her past did not dissuade Calixto from his affections. Her parents' crimes made no difference to him. He loved her.
Enough talk. For now.
He said wearily. Pulcha seemed eager to hear more, but agreed to leave the rest for the following day. The new day came. But Pulcha had vanished. And thus our search began. Calixto explained this was common among former monsters.
I expect it's the fear of never being truly human again.
The girl he'd loved, Alba, was no exception. Their life together did not last for long. A creeping change took root in her mind. She was perpetually afraid. Her father had been a monster, as had she herself. Wasn't it fair to assume the cycle would continue? Doubts became fears, became obsessions. Humans who become monsters are doomed to the same mistakes. It was a common belief, but none held it more true than she.
She loved me with all her heart and more.
Ironically, it was that love that tortured her. If she became a monster again, he would be disgusted with her. This kind man, her first love. He was the one person whose hatred she couldn't possibly bear. Before me now stood this narcissist, biting hard upon his lip as if to punish himself.
Okay, so it's a sad topic, right? Like pushing away those you love because of doubts and fears that, but inside yourself. And society, as the story very aptly points out, plays a critical role into why some people fall into that mistaken line of thinking. But you should keep hope. So we're going to save the Valkyrie, the Curse of Narcissism. So let's read the story of Valkyrie and finish off this chapter and episode. As the only child of a renowned knight, the girl had grown up wanting for nothing. She was virtuous, cheerful, and possessed a beguiling charm. And when she came of age, offers of marriage arrived from aristocrats and royal families of every region. Her father allowed her the freedom to select for herself who she might marry. But the freedom that her father had bestowed only distressed the young maid. Does he not care for whom I marry? An aspect of her father's behavior had not gone unnoticed to her. There were times, just small moments, where he did not seem to care about her. And she knew the reason why. As a knight, her father wanted a son to carry his name. Her father was the sternest, most gentle, and strongest person she knew. To her, he was the very ideal of a knight, the ideal person, the ideal man. But that which her father truly wanted, she could never be. This had cast a shadow over her heart for as long as she could remember. So, exercising the freedom bestowed upon her, she came to a decision. She decided to become a knight. The girl wanted to win her father's approval more than anything. She wanted him to truly love her. And so, to earn his respect, she decided to abandon a woman's happiness. She cut off her long silken hair and cast away her dresses. Sword fixed at her side, she enlisted for knightly instruction. Knowing that she could not match a man's power, her agility would be her strength. She trained to be the fastest, the most agile. Perhaps due to her parentage, she was blessed with the natural skill at arms. After several years, her skill surpassed that of all the knights in the realm. She perfected her talents at 20 years old, but in doing so, she came to a realization. Whenever she faced a skilled male opponent, the disparity in strength would prove an unscalable wall. No one could equal her dexterity or agility, but her inability to match the strength for strength was a dangerous weakness. Moreover, with a woman's frame, it was a deficit physically insurmountable. Years of devoted training combined with her natural talent had brought her to the peak of her ability, but it seemed she could never become the person her father wanted her to be. Is there any greater injustice than her fate to be destined to disappoint her father from the moment she was given life? At this realization, she was cast into the depths of despair. It was then that she had a strange vision. A chalice, buoyant in the air, a voice issued forth. Pay the price, do so, and your wish shall be granted. Entranced, the woman accepted the offer and paid the price. In return, her knightly skills were doubled and redoubled again. Until then, she had been quick, but only as quick as you or I think is quick. Her newfound agility was like lightning. It was as if her body was a dynamo. Indeed, she was even able to produce electrical shocks at will. She was ecstatic. However, her beautiful looks had twisted into a horrible visage. Her beauty was her sacrifice, but this was trivial now. Now her father would acknowledge her, now he would love her. Reining in her high spirits, she made journey to the battlefield where her father was. However, setting out from her home, a tragic message arrived. It was news of her father's death in battle. She couldn't believe it. The man she had admired and whose love she needed was already lost. To see with her own eyes, she headed to the battlefield. As if spurred by her great urgency, wings sprung from her armor, guiding her through the air. Thunder boomed and lightning flashed upon the beating of her wings. Arriving at the battlefield, she began her search. Fallen soldiers of both armies lay there. Silence and death hung in the air. For 3 days and 3 nights she walked among the human detritus, but was unable to find her father, living or dead. On the morning of the 4th day she departed the battlefield, bearing a new resolution in her breast. She would become the most powerful warrior in the world, and spread her name far and wide, in hope that the tale of her prowess would reach her father, on earth or in heaven, and in doing so she might finally claim her long-sought-after trophy, her father's love. Ever since, she has flown from battlefield to battlefield, challenging warriors of renown to further her glory. I don't feel bad for her. It's got to be hard being born in a world in which only kings want sons and crap like that. So, Valkyrie, I salute you. Worth saving. Calixto's lost love, Alba was her name. Perhaps when Calixto looked upon Polcha, he saw only her, and he could see the two shared the same burden. Okay, Valkyrie, show me your glory. Ooh! It's a woman. Look at her store. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so I think we're just gonna spear her down. Should be pretty easy. Lock on. She's small enough frame that the spear will hit multiple parts of her body. It's sort of like the basilisk. So I really don't need to worry too much about aiming, which is kind of nice. Oops. Stop it! Stop shooting me! Come on! You fall from the sky, my dark spells you have no match for. What else do we have on you? Your wings, okay. Get up. Stop blowing up my platform. Which one? Oh, we still need to get the other one. Okay. There I go again. That's what happens when you forget that your lance or your spear is not summoned. We got a good position on the wing though. We did. We need to heal. We need to heal. Can I get some healing, please? Dude! Sheesh. Okay, are both wings done? Yeah, so just the head? Okay. Oh, and she died. Oh, I didn't get to break the head. Small head, big wings. Oh well. She's a cool monster though, isn't she? Your father would be proud, and if he isn't, the heck with him. Honestly, if a parent can't love a child or realize their greatness, then I hate to say it, but the heck with them. Like, some parents are not worth winning the love of, unfortunately. Okay, it looks like we just hit a major milestone for our intelligence, because we now are unlocking level 10-star quests. And some more sigils. 28. Sounds good to me. I think 32 is the next big one.
He shared the end of his story with me. Alba began to eat less and less. She withered away. No salve or spell can cure what ails the heart. Now sickly and frail, she asked a final favor of him. Before she became a monster, before he had cause to hate her, she wished to be his sacrifice. Let her live on in his right arm as a beautiful memory. Calixto just couldn't bear to watch his love's heart crumble. He did as she asked. Alba's love for him was true, deep as any love could be. Her soul affirmed that, housed now within his flesh. The woman who loved him was now a part of his own body. They were truly inseparable. And so he came to feel at times a tremendous love for himself. As a kind of proof that the woman who loved him so was still with him. When we found Pulcha, she was alone and shivering.
But if I was to falter again,
She cried. Calixto wrapped an arm around her trembling shoulders.
Even if you became a monster again, you would have an ally in me. I'd save you every time.
I wonder if it wasn't Alba he wished to speak those words to. If he regretted the sacrifice of the woman he loved, well... it's in how we atone for our sins that truly matters. But perhaps his words were more for his own benefit. Calixto, cursed to love himself, lives on, so he may help others.
Well then, that explained it. So he had a wife who absolutely adored him and loved him. But because of the stigma behind becoming a monster, not wanting to let him down and all that other sorts of stuff, she wanted him to sacrifice her, and he did the deed. He shouldn't have. So he's still trying to atone for it by helping out other monsters. But that's what causes him to be infatuated with himself, is because he's literally got his his wife that loves him to death in his arm. So I think I can forgive his case, his curse of narcissism. At least it keeps him going, and it keeps him saving people. So I think in the end it works out. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's been very fun for me. We got through two very interesting stories, right, with Terroria and Calixto. So next one we have of Men and Beasts with Monstrux. And then I want to go over to Grimm, and I do want to do a Lost Voice. And then I think we'll be ready to go on and do the main story. The packs, as far as you can see here, we've unlocked all of the free quests from anywhere from 1 star to 10. So there's so much we have not done in here. Like, you've never seen a lot of these monsters. So find a time to check those out. For getting packs, we even unlocked the Hour of Rose Blossom, which has a whole nother list of interesting monsters. How difficult? Yeah, pretty difficult too. These are all really hard quests. Lots of really good ones. Like, we can fight El Zebra again. We got Leviathans, Beelzebub, Dullahan, Ouroboros, a whole bunch of new stuff to do. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and look forward to the next one. Until next time, happy hunting.